Welcome to Anvil Legal's Workers' Compensation Claim Form Guide. Have you been injured at work and decided to make a workers' compensation claim? If so, then this video is intended to help guide you step by step through the process of correctly filling out your workers' compensation claim form. Please note, before you can begin, you must make sure that you have first seen a GP if you have one. It makes treating your injury much easier if you have a doctor you trust. And if your employer or their insurance company has already sent you to their GP, stop going and go to your own or find your own. And once they've given you a first medical certificate of capacity, you can begin. Without this, you won't be able to fill out your claim form correctly or lodge your claim. And also, be sure to fill out the form with a ballpoint pen. So, let's begin. You'll notice that the top two sections are for the insurer and your employer to fill out, so you can just leave them blank. The next section is where you begin by filling out your personal and employment information relevant to your claim, and then any other employment that you may currently have. Now this next section begins to cover the occurrence details, beginning with the day, date, and time of the occurrence. However, if your work-related condition developed over time, for example if it's a psychological issue or a repetitive strain type of injury, then you should just put the first day that you couldn't work due to the condition you sustained. If you have seen your GP for this type of issue previously, you'll be able to ask for the date, as it should also be in the first medical certificate. Next is where the injury happened. If you aren't absolutely sure, leave it blank. And the details of when you had to stop working due to the injury. Here in the bottom left box, you should tick the location of where you were when you were first unable to work. Next in this section, you can begin to describe the occurrence and how the injury happened, beginning with what action was involved. A short description is all you need, however your situation might be quite complex and you may want to attach a separate sheet with more details. But at this stage, a brief summary is all you need, as the nuance and specifics of your situation will certainly be addressed later in the claim process. Next, you should specify what object, machinery or substance was involved in your injury. Then here, you need to state the most serious injury or disease that was caused. Be sure to write down the same condition that was provided by your GP on your first medical certificate. Next, provide the bodily location of the injury or disease, and if your claim is due to a psychological condition, you can simply write down psychological. And be sure to keep this bottom right section blank for work cover to fill out. And then we move on to the next page. So we continue with the occurrence report, which asks for more details. Here you write the location within your workplace that the occurrence happened. Then what you were doing at the time of the occurrence, for example, basic duties or cleaning. Next, what were the scheduled working hours for that day? And here you must state when you first reported the occurrence and to who. If you have not yet reported the injury at work, you need to email or phone work and let them know immediately. If you didn't report the occurrence immediately, you need to briefly explain why. Again, there's no need to be too detailed, as the basic reason is all you need for now. And then the contact details of any witnesses that were present at the time. Next up is the medical help and history section, starting with the specific date and time of the day that you first sought medical attention. Next, it asks if the part of your body affected by this occurrence was healthy before this occurrence, meaning was that part of your body previously impairing your ability to work? And so then, here you must clarify and confirm that your current workplace injury is completely related to or due to this occurrence. If you had no symptoms like those prior to the injury date, then it's pretty safe to assume it is completely related. If you have any doubt, speak to your GP before you write down the details, as sometimes it's not a simple answer. But if so, give details of that similar injury you sustained prior to this occurrence. This means if it was in the same body area and with the same symptoms. And then you need to provide details of your GP or medical practitioner who had treated this previous similar injury. Now this next section is regarding previous claims. And here you need to declare if you're currently claiming compensation from any other source, and if yes, from whom. And then, if you've had any similar or related workers' compensation claims to this one, and if you do, you must fill out the details of the employer's name, address, name of the insurer if you know it, and what type of injury or disease it was in relation to. And now for the worker's declaration. This first part is to declare that you have filled out this form truthfully and to the best of your knowledge. The witness to your signature can be your partner or friend who is over 18 years old. Here the second part authorizes any doctor that treats you to discuss your medical condition with your employer and their insurer, as long as it's related to your claim for workers' compensation. Please note that this section is optional. But it's generally recommended that you do give this authority because if you don't, it may negatively affect the outcome of your claim. However, you can withdraw this consent at a future date if you so wish. You can learn more about this in our other video regarding access of information. Finally is the consent authority section. This final section gives consent and authority to the employer's insurer to collect, use, and disclose your personal information, as long as it's related to the purpose of assessing, investigating, and otherwise dealing with your claim. Once again, this is optional and can be withdrawn at any point. But, as mentioned in the previous section, not giving authority may negatively affect or significantly delay the outcome of your claim, as the insurer will be limited in their investigations. Again, you can learn about this in our other video regarding access of information. If all the information has been filled out on this form and is signed, your workers' compensation claim form is now ready to submit. You should now scan or photocopy it for your own records, along with the first medical certificate and any other extra sheets you used. Modern technology is fantastic, and there are many apps out there that act as scanners that can convert and send the scan by email very easily. Stay tuned for our short video on technology to make the claim process easier on you. And then you need to submit the completed claim form along with your first medical certificate to your employer, who then in turn must lodge it with their insurer. Make sure you keep a record of when you sent it in. Email is a good way of ensuring your employer gets the claim. We advise that you carefully read the checklist on the next page, as the section pertaining to you may be very useful, not only for filling out this form, but for the duration of your claim process. Likewise with the final page, as it contains even more helpful information that will help you get informed and understand your rights. If you have any questions or need some help with completing the form, you can always contact our office on 08 6143 5200. Or for more information on what services we provide, please visit our website at anvil-legal.com.au.